Welcome to press conference, Jamaica Football Federation. Of course, we have the coach here. My name is Earl Bailey, press officer, and the coach will be speaking with you for the next few minutes. But we apologize for coming on a little late, and we go straight into it. So, back to you, coach. This press conference is about the Mexico trip only, nothing else. And so any questions will be about Mexico. Coach, up to you. Go ahead, sir.
No, even though we want to start with and focus on the Mexico camp, I think we have to close the...
Recording in progress.
We have to close the last camp we did, which was Trinidad and Tobago. And just to explain a few things, I think it's good that we are all on the same page, on the same path. Now, our job is to get Jamaica into the World Cup in 2026, so all our actions are in accordance to that. What will help us in the long run. So that was basically the first step for us to see players that we could from the domestic league, young players from England, etc. So the priority was to look at players and give them a chance to give them a playing time and give them a chance to understand and show that they understand our team tactics. And as everybody saw, the playing time was divided between the players, so everybody got their minutes. Most of them got at least 45 minutes. Some of them or most of them played almost 90 minutes. So it was not about the performance, it was not about who is the best, so we just wanted to see all the players play. Young squad, promising players, and our question was, do you have what it takes? And if not now, then what do we need to do to help you for the next 2-3 years? Or shall we need to wait a little bit and see you later, and then if it's in 1 year, if it's in 2 years, we check you again. So the best thing would be if a player comes for his first national team camp and is completely ready for the first team and for the competitive games. But that really doesn't happen often. So that was our first camp. These games against Trinidad, we had a lot of questions. We got answers, some positive answers, some negative answers, but in the end, they will all be good that we got answers to all of our questions regarding these players. So we now know in our mind who we think is ready now to go in the journey for 2026 with us, or we need to wait and see some others a little bit later. What kind of personalities are these players? We know that now from working with them for a week, and just to see them in our environment. I've talked a lot about our working environment, so now we've seen them in our environment, in our tactics. So will they function or will they not function? We have answers to these questions. So if I compare, if our job as coaches would have been like, coach, you have to win all your matches for the next 4 years, especially the friendlies. If that would be our task, then of course we, number one, wouldn't have selected a lot of these players in this squad. We would have not have selected young, unexperienced players. I think it was about 11 players playing their first match for Jamaica. And we would have focused on this match, not 2026. We would have put our focus and tried to get all the best players everywhere for this match, not the young players. So that's the difference between how we think and probably some, of course, and I understand Jamaicans that they wanted to win Trinidad. It's a rivalry. So I don't know if you have the squad already, but it should be. Is the squad already to the?
It's going to go.
So it's probably now in. So unusual. We are selecting 5 players from the last camp for this squad. That is unusual, but it's close between these camps. So it was easy to select one. They at least have the advantage of being with us for 1 week, and again they know what we expect, what we want. So yeah, that is unusual. Now, if we talk about the football side of these Trinidad matches, we were not happy with how we played. A lot of technical mistakes. Players, of course, haven't played together, so they were showing short, but the ball came long, etc. So just misunderstanding between players. But it was a lot of long balls. It was way too much of long balls. It was lack of patience on the ball, a lack of confidence and creativity on the ball. So that is the things that it's probably connected to the things they are doing normally in the league here. It's a lot of long balls. So it's one thing to teach them what we want. It's a different thing to get them to get rid of their old habits. So that was something that we will then know in the future. So, but we wanted so much, at least to mix the long balls with short balls, but we wanted to keep the ball on the ground, the use of flanks, etc. But at least it was possible to play a good combination passing game in Clinton's Park. So, leaving this Trinidad Tobago camp and focus on the Mexico one. Of course, we have big respect for Mexico. I watched them, so 2 games in Qatar in the World Cup. Really aggressive team, attacking wise, quick, skillful, especially top 3 players. Really attacking minded, high pressing team. So it's a lot of things that we need to be aware of when we go to Mexico. But we say, and we are not shy to say, we are going there to win, because it's a truly important game for us, Jamaica. Number one, it's a Nation League match. So if we win, we go to a semi-final and a final in the Nations League. So we have a chance to win a trophy. That's one reason. Secondly, we will get a semi-final and a final in June. Really good preparation matches for the Gold Cup. So that is a second advantage. And then third one is that it's a good prep for the Gold Cup to play a semi-final and a final in USA before we go to the World Cup campaign, the Gold Cup campaign, sorry. So a must-win game for us, and only a win can get us to the semi-final. So we go there with a plan to win Mexico. If we are successful or not, we will just have to see. But we will go there with a plan to win Mexico, because we expect Mexico to win Suriname in the game in 3 days, I think. So our selection of the squad took a little bit longer than we wanted. We wanted to announce the squad earlier, but there's an echo here. But because the Guatemala game is now off, we wanted to see some of the players that we plan to see in that match. So we wanted to change a little bit our thought about the squad. So it changed a little bit from what we had in mind. There are injuries to Blake, there's injuries to Michael Antonio, and Omari Hutchinson is not available. It's a personal reasons. So apart from these 3, all players are available and all players are accepted to come. So we are really happy with the squad we have. So 6 players here in the squad now that we are seeing for the first time. there's Taxi, there's Pinnock, Boyce Clark from Reading, Amal Knight, we haven't seen him before, Corey Burke and Jonathan Russell. So that's 6 players we haven't seen before. We are really looking forward to seeing them. So I hope you have the squad. If there's any questions, then we are open to answer the questions regarding Mexico.
You should read the squad.
I should read the squad. Yes. I don't have it. So if So if you don't have the squad, I can read it here. It's Amari Bell, Jamal Lowe, Ethan Pinnock, Jonathan Russell, Bobby Reed, Demario Phillips, Dexter Lampequiza, Adrian Mariappa, Kevin Lambert, Jamali Wade, Corey Burke, Damian Lowe, Daniel Johnson, Ravel Morrison, Kahim Paris, Richard King, Shama Nicholson, Trevante Stewart, Konaya Boyce Clark, Amal Knight, Javane Brown, Kemal Lawrence, and Leon Bailey.
All right. Any questions for the coach? All right. Let's start with Mr. Parchment. Go ahead.
Yes. Good morning, Coach. You said that the intention is to win, but when you came here to this job, what were your thoughts of the public and their what some would call short-sightedness or impatience? And does that feed into you telling us this morning that those intentions that it's to win?
No. This is just a different assignment, a different task, a different kind of a match. This is a tournament game, so. Of course, that is the priority, and it is a highly important for us match. It would help us a lot to win, to go through to the semi-final in the Nations League. That will give us, like I said, 2 good preparation matches for the Gold Cup. So yeah, it's always better to play official matches rather than friendlies.
All right, Daniel Wheeler. Lena? Daniel, go ahead.
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yeah. You muted yourself again.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Coach, 2 questions. One regarding the inclusion of, is John Russell, am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep. Just wanted to find out in terms of what did it's obviously his first call up, but wanted to find out in terms of what you've heard or saw from him that decided to give him in terms of trying and to evaluate him in an important game. Just to start off.
Yeah. Number one, we wanted to see him earlier. So for the Argentina camp, we tried to get him. He was then, he didn't have his passport finished. Now I think it is sorted out, so we would like to see him. He played at that time, he was playing for Huddersfield. He's a huge guy, a defensive midfielder. So he is maybe, in a way, we are kind of short in this position. So we like to see as many players who play and giving them a chance to show us what they can do. If we play him or not, we will just have to see that. But we are excited because his profile, he's young, he's tall, he's playing now a really competitive league with Barnsley. And he's been playing pretty good. He's come in now, I think he changed clubs in the January window. So he has been playing regularly and doing really well. So there for the future, hopefully for us. So we just like to see him and give him an opportunity to be with the squad in this camp.
And then the second question, I know that you said that you weren't really pleased in terms of the technical aspects from Trinidad, in terms of whether a lot of long balls and not a lot of opportunities to play on the ground. In terms of technical wise, what are the things that you're trying to correct, whether that be in terms of positioning, how the passes are deployed, that you would want to do in terms of for this squad in a very important game?
Yeah, it's two things. We were more like going to the basics in our tactics than now. For example, our tactics will be solely for this Mexico camp. So we will have some things that we would like to emphasize, for example, in our attacking game, and then other things we would like to emphasize in our defensive game. So, but from the first game, I thought. They went way too early for the long ball. We had like options to play it long, but we wanted them to play it short. We wanted to use the flanks and keep the ball more in the team. But if you've watched the matches here in the league, but that is basically what they do every day. So it's difficult to change that in two sessions. So when they got into trouble, they kicked it long instead of passing it. And when you have young players, normally they don't have the composure, they don't have the confidence to maybe play through the first press. So, but this now is a totally different squad. More experienced players, used to playing at the high level, used to play in national team games. So I don't expect that in the game against Mexico.
You okay, Daniel?
Yeah.
Daniel?
Yeah, two questions. One more.
You have another question?
No, I'm good here.
All right, let's go to Tyrone Davis.
Yeah, good morning, Coach. Good morning, Earl. Can you just go back to the squad again for me, please? I didn't catch all of the names.
It's on social media. It's on the JFF social media pages now. So anybody who didn't get it, you can go on the JFF social media pages and it's posted there.
Amari Bell, Jamal Lowe, Ethan Pinnock, Jonathan Russell, Bobby Reed, Di Mario Phillips, Dexter Lambiquisa, Adrian Mariappa, Kevin Lambert, Jamali Wade, Corey Burke, Damian Lowe, Daniel Johnson, Ravel Morrison, Kahim Paris, Richard King, Shaman Nicholson, Trevante Stewart, Konaya Boyce Clark, Amal Knight, Javane Brown, Kemal Lawrence, and Leon Bailey. Hopefully, nobody is angry towards my pronunciation.
All right. Okay. Good. Thank you, Coach. So, Coach, I know that the captain is out. So, are you much confident in the two goalkeepers that we have?
Yeah, we have three keepers. So we have Jamali, who played in Cameroon, did a really good game in Cameroon, and he played also a part in the second game against Trinidad. We have Amal Knight, a goalkeeper with experience from the national team. Sadly, he just went the same time we came to Jamaica, so I didn't even see him play league matches. So we are excited to see him, but he has experience from the national team, so two really qualified keepers. And then we have Konaya Boyce Clark, who has played with the youth national teams of Jamaica, is now at Reading and is highly rated there. So we are equally excited to see how he is in this camp. So yeah, I think we are improving a lot in this position on the pitch.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to I Am Sure Sport.
Good morning, Coach Hal Grimson. Good morning, Mr. Bailey, and to all the other persons here. All right. Just one correction. I know you originally said there are 5 players from the last camp that are in this present squad, but it's actually 7.
Yeah.
Just wanted to.
Sorry, I did not count Mariappa, and I did not count Ravel Morrison because they have normally been in this squad.
Okay. No, I understand. All right. The second, well, that's just my first question is as it relates to the time of preparation. I know this is a longer camp, and but Mexico have a game on the 23rd, and then they have one on the 26th. We will not have a game with the majority of the players that are coming in leading up to that, but you have around 4 or 5 days before the team goes off. Do you believe that that is enough time to get your philosophy or your style of play or your what you want to do on the field with these players before the game against Mexico, not having them to play a game you haven't seen Pinnock, as you admitted, and there are a couple others that you're probably playing at a high level, but you have not seen?
Yeah, that is actually a good question. So we decided early on to have only one camp, or no, just one match, and focus on the Mexico, because we already knew that we would have 2 games against Trinidad prior to the camp, and we planned with a game against Guatemala after the camp. So we would have seen a lot of players in these 4 matches. Now it's a little bit changed since the Guatemala game was off, but still we think the priority of all these matches is on Mexico. So we like to focus on the preparation for that match, and to get players tired or injured maybe playing another friendly 2 or 3 days prior to Mexico. We thought that was not clever. Instead, we wanted to bring the players to Jamaica, so the camp will be in Montego Bay. We wanted the players to live and experience Jamaica, connect to the people here, and connect to the country. So that was one reason we wanted, just to be closer to the people here in our preparation and not focus on a friendly for these players. So that was our thought process behind only one game in this window.
All right, make it quick now. I am sure sport, because we have quite a few people waiting.
Oh, not a problem. The second question is, in the games against Trinidad, you started one, Alwyn Harvey, and the other one was Joshon Anlin in midfield. Then you made substitution, and Ravel played in a deeper role. This one, you have Lambert and John Russell, who can play CDM. Is the plan going ahead to deploy those 2 players there without necessarily asking Ravel to play as deep as he did in Argentina and in the 2 games against Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, I will not. Maybe if in a personal call, I will answer that to you. But of course, I'm not going to give you how we are going to play. But all of them can for sure. And Ravel showed us against Argentina where they swapped position, DJ and Ravel. And Ravel played the deeper one, and DJ went higher up on the pitch. So Ravel is a versatile player with a huge amount of experience. So we liked what we saw. We were a little bit worried about his fitness, but he showed in the game how vital he can be for us. So yeah, we have more options for this position. So, but we need to keep on working and finding players who can play. But a lot of them played well, but we need a certain character in. If it's only one player in a defensive midfield position, we need a special character for that job. Sometimes it's better to play with 2. It's easier to play when you have another defensive midfielder next to you.
Well, all right, thank you. I am sure sport. Let's move to Brian Peter.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, Coach. I have 2 questions for you. The 5 players that you included from the last camp, what did you see from them that caused you to choose them over players that you didn't select? And my second question, Dejan Whisper Richards, he's not selected. He was perhaps our most attacking threat in the 2 games. We need goals. So what was your thought process in not selecting him?
Hello. Yeah, I was the question finished?
Yes, good.
So 5 players that we think and wanted to see play with this squad to see how they would do with playing with, let's say, better players, more experienced players. I think they can all take step up playing with better players around them. So not that others were bad, we just wanted to see these guys. It was positions that we needed, so we looked maybe to the guys we just stopped working with. That will not be in my I think in the future we will not take so many from the local league, I would guess, but let's see how they do. Regarding Whisper, we were really happy with him. Now, just remember, I was criticized for picking him. Some thought that was a silly thing to do, and he did really well for a 17-year-old. And for sure, the future is his if he continues to work hard. That is no doubt in our mind as a coaching staff. He's not the final product, of course, but I believe he will be a national team player for Jamaica in the future, and I guess in the close future. And we considered him like others for this camp. Now, the reason we did not was one that there's a lot of things going on in his life. He is making a big move to a big club, like Chelsea, and they don't sign average players. So it just shows how they think of him. So he's moving to another country, he's changing clubs. So it's a lot of things going on in his mind. So we are also need to protect a player like this. Don't put too much load and pressure on him at this stage. But it's like many of the other players. We know, and at least think we know, after this week, what they can give us now and in the future. So for sure, you will see him again in the national team. There's no pressure on the kid. We don't want to put pressure on this kid.
All right, Brian. Thank you, man. Let's move now to Jermaine Brown.
All right. Thanks, Earl. Good morning, Coach. All right, so Jamaica has had their problems scoring goals. The last man to score a goal for Jamaica in an international match, Justin McMaster, against Cameroon. Is he now a forgotten man? I mean, we haven't seen or heard of him since. What's the deal with him?
Yeah, the best we know, he's trying to find a club, if I'm correct. Correct, guys? Yeah, so he's searching for a club. We've been trying to follow up on him. But no, he's not forgotten at all. And if he can score for us, of course, we want to have these guys on board. But we'll see what his career lies and goes. So no, he's not forgotten.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's move to, who is that now? Mr. Smith?
Yeah, thanks, sir. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
A few questions. The fans are displeased with the aesthetics of our football. Just for clarity purposes, Coach, will the 4-4-2 system be the staple of our football going forward?
No, sir. Well, when we need a 4-4-2, we play a 4-4-2. So it's good. Like I said, the basics are good to teach in a 4-4-2, and we were thinking about the basics in the last camp. But normally, we don't care what system we are playing. It's just what fits the purpose of the game. If we will play a 4-4-2 or a different system against Mexico, will be according to how we think we can do a good game and hurt them and win them.
Okay, and my final question, Coach. So, in a previous interview, you mentioned a lack of a player profile. Now, how difficult was it to assemble this squad, and is your backroom staff and administrative staff actively aiding you with the scouting and development of a database?
Yeah, we have been working really hard. More or less our time has gone into this. You have to take into account we are foreigners, so we didn't know much about Jamaican football before we arrived. So that has been our priority to learn as much about the players, where they are playing, how they are playing, etc. It's a lot of players Jamaica has all over the world. So my first 2 months we're focused on the players here in Jamaica. So I've tried to see as many games as possible in the league and on the TV. So January and February was more or less dedicated for the players playing domestically. Now we have to search to the other players. So the database, not only for us as a coaching staff, but for future coaches of Jamaica, I think is really important. And at all the age levels, that when you start, you have access to a database of what is available and how these players have been doing for Jamaica. And I can tell you that this is changing rapidly. We are working really well with the coaching staff, is with the JFF, trying to do the best database available to us. So we have apps, we have scouts helping us. So this will change, hopefully, for the future for Jamaica.
All right, thank you very much. All right, let's move to Mr. Reid. From now on, we have one question because the coach has 5 more questions to answer, and that's it. So, Mr. Reid.
Good afternoon, Coach Al Grimson, and good afternoon to the Earl and everybody in the chat. My question is that Mexico will rest their key players for the game upcoming against Jamaica, the 6 players, Lozano, and the players are players in Europe. What is the plan going forward in this Mexico game? Because it's a do or die moment for Jamaica and for Mexico if they lost the game. What are the plans going into this game, and what success plan would you go for to this game?
Really. So the plan. You mean the plan how we are going to win? How we're going to plan to win Mexico? Are you basically asking what is the plan to win Mexico?
Yes.
Yeah. So of course, tactically we're not going to say how we would like to play against Mexico in a press conference, but it's always the same principles. They are really strong in transition, for example. So we always have to be balanced when we have the ball. It's things like this. They are quick. They change positions up front. The wing players are really good 1v1. So that's emphasis in defense we need to take care of. Then they have some weaknesses that we would like to exploit, and for sure I'm not going to talk about those here. So there's a few things that we think we can hurt them, but we will see. Or you will see.
Thank you, sir. Let's move now to Eddie Guna. Eddie, your question. One question.
Eddie can't sleep.
Hello, Eddie. Eddie Guna.
You can take the next one.
All right, let's go to Rashid Parchment again. I would say the final. All right, go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead, Eddie. You're on.
Yeah, you have.
Yes, sorry about that, Earl. Thank you. Morning, Coach. Did you get a chance or attempted to look at other players that have not represented Jamaica as yet, as just receiving passports?
That has just received passports?
Yes.
You have to be more specific. What players are you talking about then?
Eddie, the coach looked at some new players recently. Are you saying that there are other players out there with passports who would want to play
for example, Tida Taylor Hart?
Yeah. No. We've. It's difficult to see matches from Kido Taylor. I know he's trying to change clubs. He's for sure one of the players that we want to see, and we wanted to see, but we cannot see everyone at the same time. So we only can select 23 in the last squad, and the same here. We wanted to see the players that we picked. So, but he is one name that we have been talking about. Yes. Hopefully we can play an under 21 national team game soon. So so we can see those players who are young and promising for Jamaica.
All right, man. Thank you. Any other question? Rashid, Parchment, you have one more?
Yeah.
That's it. Final question.
This is about what you said about Justin McMaster, but also you noting that you have a certain profile and characteristic you look for when building a squad. So I want to ask about unattached players and what you look for. What is your stance on unattached players, and also what's the profile you look for when selecting players and characteristics?
So it's different between what kind of matches we are playing, of course. So we go for the things we know when we select for a camp like this one against Mexico. So we go for how can we say the certainty of players when playing the highest level, etc. But when we play matches like Mexico, we have more flexibility in looking at players who maybe we don't know too much about. It's difficult to see matches, for example, Delano Splat or Tyler Roberts and those things. It's difficult for us to see that. So we call them in because we have heard and we have scouts and we have maybe one or two youth matches that they are playing. So we are looking at the same with Whisper. He hasn't played a senior football, so it's difficult to kind of evaluate the players to the senior football standard in the international level. So unattached players, of course, in a national team is difficult to select them. So we have in this camp Mariapa and Ravel who are not playing at the moment. They are looking for clubs, and we then selected them for the camp against Trinidad, so we could see them and evaluate their fitness, etc. So it's different reasons for different players all the time. So it's not like a one rule about non-attached players.
Thank you, Rashid.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach, if you don't mind, I'm going to take another question from Jeremy and finish this one. Jeremy, you're on?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Okay, thanks to everybody who joined us this morning.